Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen says Europe is being dragged into the Russia-Ukraine war, which is no longer a war between Russia and Ukraine, but a war between Russia and Europe. And Chinese ambassador to Cambodia says the experience of living through the COVID-19 pandemic has shown the strength and sincerity between Cambodia and China. Karayev residents show up at the local civil territory defence centres to sign up and receive arms days after Russia invades their country. Major League Baseball and its players' union failed to reach a labour agreement by the deadline cancelled for the first two series of the regular season. And demonstrate the power of 5G connectivity, Spain Telefonica showed a robot bartender at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. Prime Minister Hun Sen has said Europe is being dragged into a Russian-Ukraine war, which is no longer a war between Russia and Ukraine, but a war between Russia and Europe. He's made this statement while speaking at an inauguration ceremony for the new section of National Road 3 held in Takeo Province on Wednesday morning. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has more.
The Prime Minister called Europe's entry into the Russia-Ukraine war the Europeanization of Ukrainian territory. He said that because of this, Cambodia has found it difficult to maintain its position on the war, and he urges the international community to not force Cambodia to support any one side. He said, the war between Russia and Ukraine is no longer just a Russia-Ukraine war. It is a war between Russia and Europe. Through the provision of military assistance to aircrafts, it is an additional incentive for war. Prime Minister Hun Sen said he understands that this support will exacerbate the Russian war in Ukraine. He maintained his view that war could not be ended by more war. On Sunday, February 27th, NATO allies increased support and assistance to Ukraine, including thousands of anti-tank weapons, hundreds of anti-aircraft missiles, and thousands of small arms and ammunition. NATO is also providing millions of euros in financial and humanitarian aid, as well as medical supplies to help Ukrainian forces. In addition, other allies are also providing fighter jets, including warships. Deccan Nin, EAC News.
Chinese ambassador to Cambodia, Wang Wentien, has said the experience of living through COVID-19 pandemic has shown the strength and similarities between Cambodia and China. He has further stressed that the building the common destiny between China and Cambodia would be beneficial to both countries even more. EAC News reporter Darshana Guchen has the story.
Ambassador Wang Wentien made these remarks during the inauguration ceremony of the new section of National Road No. 3 on Wednesday morning in Tramkok District, Takeo Province. The road was built in 34 months between October 2018 to July 2021, with a total budget of $215 million, with the assistance of the People's Republic of China, together with the budget of the Royal Government of Cambodia. The ambassador said, "We have good reason to believe that Cambodia will be better tomorrow. Building a common destiny between China and Cambodia will bring greater benefits to the people of both countries." He also stressed that China will support Cambodia's ASEAN leadership, believing that Cambodia will contribute to building more peace and stability in the region. China has also expressed support for the upcoming Cambodian elections. Darshana Guchen, EAC News.
The new section of National Road No. 3 from Phnom Penh to Kampot was officially inaugurated on Wednesday morning by the Prime Minister Hun Sen. This section of the road is 134 kilometres long and passes through 5 capitals and provinces, including Phnom Penh, Can Dao, Kampong Spu, Takeo and Kampot. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has the details.
The new section of National Road No. 3 was under construction from October 2018 to July 2021, taking 34 months to complete, with a total budget of more than $250 million with the assistance from the People's Republic of China, together with the national budget of the Royal Government of Cambodia. National Road Number 3 was restored by the government from 2008 to 2011, but due to the increased traffic, the government decided to expand the road from 2 lanes to 4 lanes and install other support equipment, including speed cameras. This road is a lane of economic and tourism potential in Cambodia, passing through 5 provinces and connecting to Sihanouk Vlieq International Seaport. The road also connects to the Cambodia-Thailand border, crossing in Koh Kong Province, and is part of the Southern Corridor along the coast of the Greater Mekong Subregion, GMS, connecting Asian Highway 123, AH123, from Thailand to Cambodia and Cambodia to Vietnam, which will help boost the volume of trade and tourism between Cambodia and its neighboring countries. This stretch of road plays an important role in improving the efficiency of travel. Kampot is also a major tourist destination in Cambodia, rich in natural resources, landscape, valleys, and coastal areas. Dekanin, EAC News.
Citizens who attended the inauguration ceremony of National Road Number 3 from Chom Chai to Kampot Province on Wednesday morning expressed their happiness for the new section of the road and described being satisfied with the new ease of the road after the construction had been completed. EAC News reporter Soi Paul Kong has more.
Outside a factory with more than 2,000 workers at Tramkot district in Takao province on Wednesday morning, 54-year-old Kong Mai was waiting for the presence of the Prime Minister Hun Sen with a happy face. He spoke with EAC News about the joy of participating in this morning's program, especially the official launch of the new section of National Road Number 3.
Before it took 3 hours to drive from Phnom Penh to Kampot on this road, but now the trip takes only an hour and a half. Because the road is clean and in good condition. The current road is wide, unlike the narrow as it was before when there were many traffic accidents. Now I am very happy that the Prime Minister built this road.
61-year-old Ut Rain held a similar opinion.
Since 1998, it has been very difficult. The road had many palms and was small. It was very difficult to drive on it and we had to find another way. To go to Kampot, it would take 3 to 4 hours at a time. But now from Kampong Speu, it takes only around an hour or more to arrive. It is very reasonable. I am happy that the Prime Minister has made the path.
Nasaron, who got up to attend the inauguration ceremony at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, shared her experience of using National Road Number 3 after the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime, saying that this road was very difficult to travel on because of its small size and damage. She said that it used to take 3 hours to travel from Takao province.
When
it comes to the Pol Pot era, the road was very difficult to use. There were many breakages in the road, but now it is very easy to use.
All citizens in attendance at the inauguration ceremony expressed similar sentiment regarding the enhanced access the new section of the road allowed. Everyone appeared very satisfied with the now expanded and upgraded road, which has helped greatly in terms of improving road safety and business. The new section of National Road Number 3 extends from Phnom Penh to Kampot and is more than 134 kilometers long. The road passes through 5 capitals and provinces, including Phnom Penh, Kandal, Kampong Speu, Takao, and Kampot. It was built from October 2018 to July 2021, taking 34 months to build, with a total budget of more than $215 million, with assistance provided by the People's Republic of China, together with the national budget of the Royal Government of Cambodia. This road acts as a potential economic and tourism road for Cambodia, connecting all the way to the Sihanouk Vlieq International Seaport, as well as the Cambodian-Thai border in Koh Kong Province. It is also part of the Southern Seaboard Corridor of the Greater Mekong Subregion, connecting Asian Highway 123 from Thailand to Cambodia and from Cambodia to Vietnam, which will help boost trade and tourism between Cambodia and its neighboring country as well. Sri Pokong, EAC News.
A new office building of International Border Checkpoint in Poi Point City, Bangtan Aceh Province, was officially inaugurated on Tuesday under the presidency of the Minister of Interior. Deputy Prime Minister Saw Keng, the new building which contributed to the facilitation of cross-border travel between Cambodians and Thais and foreign tourists, as well as cross-border transport of goods between Cambodia and Thailand. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has more.
The inauguration ceremony for the new International Border Checkpoint building in Poipet was held under the presidency of the Minister of Interior, Deputy Prime Minister Saw King, and the chairman of the National Authority for Combating Drugs and head of the Royal Government Working Group for Bantay Minche Province, General Kai Kim Yan. The construction of this building began on 27 October 2017 and was completed on 2 September 2021 with a budget of $4.2 million. Speaking at the ceremony, Deputy Prime Minister Saw King thanked the Royal Government of Thailand, particularly the Sra Kiao Provincial Administration, for the continued good cooperation with Cambodia and for contributing to the development of Poipet City, which is one of Cambodia's most important international border gates for economy and tourism. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Cambodia and the Czech Republic have agreed to boost bilateral trade in the post-COVID-19 context, with both countries pledging to strengthen the cooperation on rice exports and food processing. This agreement was struck between the Minister of Commerce, Pan Sok-sak, and Czech Ambassador of Cambodia, Martin Vara. On Tuesday, EAC reporter Decca Nin has more.
While meeting with the ambassador of the Czech Republic, Minister Pan Sok-sak recalled the strong ties between Cambodia and the Czech Republic, as well as all the previous efforts that have been made on fostering cooperation on sectors such as trade, rice exports, and food processing. The Minister of Commerce briefed the Czech ambassador on key points of the bilateral free trade agreements Cambodia has made with China and South Korea, as well as the regional comprehensive economic partnership, and expressed high hopes that Czech businessmen and investors will come to Cambodia and take advantage of the wider market opportunities and a good business and investment environment, which can lead to further enhancements of trade cooperation between the two nations in the future. The Czech Republic is an important European market for Cambodian products. The value of two-way trade between the two nations was valued at $80 million in 2020 to 2021, which was down from the $126 million figure recorded in 2019. However, such figures are only expected to rise in the near future, particularly in a post-COVID-19 context. Dekanin, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 415 new COVID-19 cases, including 29 which are imported. There have been 450 patient recoveries and no new deaths. Total Omicron cases in Cambodia climbed past 10,500 today. The Kingdom has recorded 386 new community and 29 imported cases of the new variant, meaning that Cambodia has now recorded 10,563 cases of Omicron, 936 imported and 9,027 community cases. The Kingdom COVID-19 case tally has now climbed up to 131,004. The death toll stands at 3,032. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 124,627, and the tally for imported cases have climbed to 20,793. Healthcare workers are currently treated a total of 3,269 patients. Now for a look at the news making international headlines Wednesday the 2nd of March.
A massive forest fire broke out in the city of Valparaiso, Chile, a South American country. It started Monday, February 28. A red alert was issued to contain the fire on Wednesday, which has spread over 70 hectares. Firefighters in the area are trying to get the fire under control.
An attack by Russian forces on television tower in Kyiv has killed 5 people. The Ukraine emergency services have confirmed on Tuesday, March 1st. A footage shows the moment the projectile hits the tower before engulfing in flames and black smoke rises. Earlier, Russian defense minister has said it was planning to strike communications and intelligence sites in the capital that he said that were being used for information attacks.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged the European Union on Tuesday, March 1st, via video link to an emergency session of the European Parliament to prove that you are with us in Ukraine's war with Russia, a day after Kyiv has officially asked to join the bloc. European Union lawmakers, many wearing Stand With Ukraine t-shirts bearing the Ukrainian flags, others with blue and yellow scarves or ribbons, gave Zelensky a standing ovation. Do prove that you are with us. Do prove that you will not let us go. Do prove that you are indeed Europeans, and then life will win over death, and light will win over darkness, Zelensky has said. The Ukrainian president spoke emotionally about Russian attacks on Ukraine's second-largest city of Kharkiv. Imagine in the morning, 2 cruise missiles hit Freedom Square, dozens of victims. This is the price of freedom, he has said. Zelensky has remained in Kyiv to rally his people against the invasion. As he spoke on Tuesday, a Russian armored column was bearing down on Ukraine's capital.
Kiev residents, both men and women, have showed up on Monday, February 28th at a local civil territory defence centres to sign up to receive arms days after Russia has invaded their country.
The United States expects Russian forces to try to encircle Kiev in the coming days and could become more aggressive out of frustration with their slow advance on the Ukrainian capital, a senior U.S. defense official has said on Monday. Russian artillery has bombarded residential districts of Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, on Monday, killing possibly dozens of people, Ukrainian officials have said, as Moscow's invading forces met stiff resistance from Ukrainians on the 5th day of conflict.
United Nations Secretary Antonio Guterres has told the emergency session of the 193-member General Assembly on Ukraine on Monday, 28th of February, that the idea of nuclear conflict was simply inconceivable.
The United Nations Secretary-General says, although Russian strikes are reportedly largely targeting Ukrainian military facilities, the UN have credible accounts of residential buildings, critical civilian infrastructure, and other non-military targets sustaining heavy damage. This escalating violence, which is resulting in civilian death, including children, is totally unacceptable. Guterres has added, facing a tragedy for Ukraine is also a major regional crisis with potentially disastrous implications for everyone. On Sunday, Russian nuclear forces were put on high alert. It is a chilling development. The mere idea of a nuclear conflict is simply inconceivable. Nothing can justify the use of nuclear weapons. The Russia-Ukraine crisis could easily become Europe's worst humanitarian and refugee crisis in decades, with the numbers of refugees and internally displaced multiplying by the minute. It is essential that the safety and security of UN and associated personnel in Ukraine are protected in accordance with international law, and that humanitarian access to vulnerable people and communities is guaranteed, the UN Secretary-General has also said.
This is a chilling development.
Americans should not be worried about the nuclear war, US President Joe Biden has said on Monday, February 28th, the day after Russian President Vladimir Putin put Russia's nuclear deterrent on high alert amid Moscow's ongoing invasion of Ukraine.
U.S. President Joe Biden has said on Monday, Americans should not worry about a nuclear war after Moscow put its nuclear deterrent on high alert amid a barrage of Western reprisals over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. White House officials have said earlier in the day the United States sees no reason to change its nuclear alert levels at this time. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has said. But it's also important to remember that even over the course of the last several months and years, when we had significant disagreements with Russia over a range of issues, Russia and the United States have long agreed that nuclear use would have devastating consequences and have stated many times, including earlier this year, that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought, she has said in response to a question. Throughout the crisis, Russia and President Putin has falsely alleged that it is under threat, including from Ukraine, including from NATO, she has noted. Neither the United States nor NATO has any desire or intention for conflict with Russia, and we think provocative rhetoric like this regarding nuclear weapons is dangerous, adds to the risk of miscalculation, should be avoided, and will not indulge in it, Psaki has further said. What President Putin did are not actions of a global leader that should be treated with respect on the global stage, Psaki has also remarked. Senator John Hens, a combat veteran and member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, slammed Putin for his comments on nuclear weapons. This would be a catastrophe, and it would be the end of the Russian Federation. This type of action going to the nuclear war would absolutely not be tolerated by anyone around this globe. Vladimir Putin has gone a step too far, making these threats. Senator Jim Inhofe, ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, in a statement called on Putin to walk back his threats to go nuclear and to end this war for which he is solely responsible. The world has witnessed the lengths Putin is willing to go to get what he wants. Apartment buildings hit by missiles, civilians indiscriminately killed, Ukrainians taking to subway tunnels as makeshift bomb shelters, and desperate mother with small children fleeing major cities in the bitter cold of Ukrainian winter. The Russian president's senseless decision to invade Ukraine and bring horrific devastation to his people wasn't evidence enough. Putin's attempt at nuclear blackmail illuminates the truly threatening nature of his regime. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden has announced on Tuesday night's State of the Union that the U.S. is banning Russian aircraft from U.S. airspace, joining a growing number of countries who are closing their skies to Russia, following President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Major League Baseball and its players' union failed to reach a labour agreement by the league's Tuesday deadline, and as a result, NBL has cancelled the first two series of the regular season, Commissioner Robert Manfield said.
The 2022 season was scheduled to kick off with opening day on March 31st. The calendar dictates that we're not going to be able to play the first two series of the regular season, and those games are officially cancelled, Manfred told a press conference. Service time toward free agency, playoff expansion, luxury tax, and a salary floor is among the key issues in the current dispute, which led the league to lock out the players in December. The breakdown in negotiations towards a new collective bargaining agreement came after the sides met for more than 16 hours on Monday and again on Tuesday in Jupiter, Florida, in an effort to avoid the first missed games due to a labor dispute since the players' strike of 1994 to 1995. MLB had previously said it would cancel games if a deal was not met by the end of the day on Monday, but the league said enough progress was made that it decided to push the deadline back to Tuesday. The players rejected MLB's last offer before the deadline expired. The cancelled games will not be made up and the players will not be paid, Manfred added. He continued, "We've been informed that the MLBPA is headed back to New York, meaning that no agreement is possible until at least Thursday. As such, camps could not meaningfully operate until at least March 8th, leaving only 23 days before the scheduled opening day."
You need 100, he needs 100.
The Australian cricket team, which has arrived in Pakistan for its first tour in 24 years, will be giving a head of state security, Pakistan Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed announced Tuesday the 1st of March.
The visitors are scheduled to play 3 test matches, 3 one-day internationals, and a one-off 2020 during their 6-week tour. Pakistan has been shunned by international cricket teams since a fatal terrorist attack on a visiting Sri Lanka team's bus in 2009.
Excellent arrangements by the Pakistan Cricket Board, Pakistan Armed Forces, Pakistan Police, Pakistan Civil Administration, and Islamabad administration also. And we are giving you head of state security, which we give security to the head of the states. There are some people, especially the Indians, which are not happy with the happiness of the Pakistani people who are the cricket lover. And they did same during New Zealand tour. But this time they have failed. And you will see how all Pakistani nation will welcome the Australian.
Although over the last 6 years, Pakistan has hosted Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Bangladesh, and South Africa, Australia will be the first high-profile team that will be playing a full-fledged bilateral series in the cricket-crazy country. Australia last toured to Pakistan in 1998 when it won the Test Series 1-0, while also winning all the matches in the limited over series.
World number 1 women's player and Australian Open champion Ash Barty visited Australian iconic Uluru Rock and gave some tennis lessons to local Indigenous children.
In her role as Tennis Australia's First Nations ambassador, Barty taught young children how to strike a ball with a racket on the red sand near Uluru and at a tennis club in nearby Alice Springs. Barty said she enjoyed teaching the sport to children, some of whom had never picked up the racket before.
This has been today an experience that is as much for me as it is for the kids, and I think there are so many communities. These kids today, there's 15, 16 kids that had never picked up a tennis racket. Just a couple of days ago was the first time they picked up a racket, and I think providing that opportunity is so exciting for me, and that's part of my role is to provide those opportunities to help kids get involved in the sport, because that's what lights me up the most, is seeing them smile, try something new for the first time and do it. It reminds me of what it was like for myself, and as much as it is for them trying something new, selfishly I love it and I get probably more out of it than they do, and I just love coming here and providing that opportunity for youth all around the country that's not just in remote areas but just in areas that haven't had the opportunity to try something new.
Barty herself is Indigenous. Her father claims Ngarigo ancestry through one of his grandmothers. Indigenous Australians suffer disproportionately from many debilitating health issues, such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease, conditions where regular exercise can make a big difference.
Good girl. All right, one hand. Good job, perfect. 2 hands on this side.
Now let's take a look at the weather that you can expect tomorrow. And finally, to demonstrate the power of 5G connectivity edge computing, Spain's Telefónica has demonstrated a raft of innovative applications for the growing technology, including the humidification of vending machines and our robot bartender at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona.
The robot, developed by Mako Robotics, uses Telefónica's 5G technology to prepare and serve juice, wine, or cocktails to Congress attendees. It can reply in several languages when greeting customers, respond to their orders, and offer recommendations in the language that the customer has previously selected. The robot also uses facial recognition to remember and recognize people who return to order and offer drinks based on their previous orders. The hospitality robot named Kime uses computer vision cameras to allow the quality of the prepared product to be controlled in real time. Telefónica say the technology is scalable to serve people with more potential functionalities, always in real time, such as demographic characteristics of the users, capacity, waiting time in the queue, warnings for crowds, or identifying specific peaks of high demand or supply needs, among others. Telefónica has also demonstrated a Spot robot using its 5G technology. The advanced robots like Spot and low-latency 5G make them a perfect tool to help humans in dangerous situations. His objective is to act in situations where people are putting their lives at risk. We better send a robot that assesses the situation, a representative from Telefónica has said. The organizers of MWC hope to attract about 50,000 attendees to the Spanish city, making it one of the biggest physical events since the start of the pandemic. The event will run from 28th February to 3rd March.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at our favourite app store. For more from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.